This is Women's Tech Radio,
a show on the Jupiter Broadcasting Network interviewing interesting women in technology, exploring their roles and how they're successful in technology careers. I'm Paige.
And I'm Angela.
So today, everybody, we put Angela on the hot seat, ask her a whole bunch of questions about Jupiter Broadcasting, about being a mom, about how technology has improved her life or changed her life, and a lot about sharing and kind of connecting with other people. It's a really good interview.
Well, I have to agree if I say so myself. But before we get into this interview about me, I'd like to mention that you can support the network and Women's Tech Radio by going to patreon.com/today. That is the Jupiter Broadcasting bucket, the main bucket where you can support pretty much any show in the network. And when you go there specifically, you are supporting Women's Tech Radio. Patreon.com/today.
And we get started with today's interview by just chit-chatting with Angela. So Angela, thank you for joining us on Women's Tech Radio. It's really fun to finally put you on the mic since you put me on the mic a while ago.
I know, like 2 months ago at least.
Yeah, much longer actually.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
It's been quite a while.
Time flies.
It does.
Oh my gosh, is it going to be a year in November?
I don't know.
I think we started in November.
We need, 8 more episodes after this to do 52?
Well, that's if you count by episodes, but I mean like time.
Yeah, time. It's about November. Yeah. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yay.
I love it. So what people want to know, what I want to know is kind of like what this journey has been like for you. And I think that we've heard some about how you got started in tech, how you through the different interviews. And I guess I would like to know some of your story of like what it's been like to really be immersed in tech, especially in this broadcasting end of things where like we're in this age of no gatekeepers. You can just put things out on the interwebs like we do with this show. And like, what has that done to your life? How has it been interesting? How has it been like kind of coming from a semi-technical background into this like media that's like so richly technical on both sides, where the topics of Jupiter Broadcasting are technical and the work itself is technical? Like, talk to me about that.
Okay. So I think from that, I would like to talk about, I have always been one that has wanted to help others and educate others. And that is kind of like the foundation of anything I do. And the technology that has developed over the last 10 years just magnificently supports it. It just is. It's completely natural. And even in like middle school, when we first started using technology, I had the LiveJournal account. I was dabbling in the small parts of the internet. But then, being with somebody that always wanted the latest technology, like really helped, I always, I started on a Mac and I really, for some reason, I'm like, I guess it could have been anything. Actually, you know what? I didn't start on a Mac, but once I started on a Mac, I guess is what I mean. I feel like it really opened up my opportunities. I started using Soundtrack. That was specifically the thing that I moved to Mac for.
So for people who don't know, what's Soundtrack?
Soundtrack is audio. It's recording and music compilation software, and it was some crazy amount of money, like $300 or $400 at the time. This would have been like 2002, and I was writing songs, and I was using software that ran on Linux before switching to Soundtrack. But when I went into the Apple store and they had Soundtrack on demo, I grabbed a couple tracks and I put something together, and it was amazing. And then a couple weeks later, I bought it and I tried it and I assembled those same tracks, and now I have a song that I made, and it was really cool. So I'm a very creative person, and that is another way that the creativity and the educational or desire to educate aspect really do go hand in hand. I was a mommy blogger. It has kind of been on hiatus for a little while. And I do the Faux Show, which is really a show that is whatever I want to talk about. But I always wanted to grab things that, like, if I told you I was going to do a show on a certain topic, you might be like, yeah. But once you were there, like, you would be interested in it because it would be a lot of different sources, and whether they be right or not, like that's debatable, but it's not a real show,
Yeah, right. It's a fake show, a faux show.
Yeah. So for in terms of Jupiter Broadcasting, I was a lot of the back end, behind the scenes, operational side. The accounting, all that behind the scenes stuff. But once we put up the green screen in our third bay garage and started doing shows there, I started getting more interested in the chat room and would hang out after Jupiter at Night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where the faux show started. Is I started just talking to the audience, and the audience talked back, and it gave them like a personal touch and also involvement. And I really think that it solidified a whole new community aspect of Jupiter Broadcasting. And just from there, like I just started getting to know the community and being more active in the IRC, which automatically got me more involved with the technology stuff. And then now here I am doing Women's Tech Radio.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I've always been really impressed by your ability to kind of share across a lot of different platforms.
I think people would call me an oversharer. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that you have a great way, like in person, you connect with people really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to witness that. But I think that I feel like that's kind of a feature for me as well. But you also have this awesome way of bridging that to a digital audience, like to people. Like even before I met you, I kind of felt like I knew you because I'd seen the faux show and I'd seen your Twitter. I'd been following you on Google Plus for like a couple of years, and then I showed up and I met you and I'm like, this is totally the Angela that I expect. Like you have a great ability to bring yourself across. Like, how do you do that? Is that natural? Like,
I guess it must be.
Yeah. Is it just like occur to you like, hey, this is a moment that I should share? Or do you like have to actively like think about it? Or
well, a lot of things, when I make the decision to share something, it's because I think that it'll help somebody else.
Huh.
Right? That's why I started Mom Vault, my mommy blog, because there are things, it's kind of like, it's not that I want to share the hard sides of parenting or anything, because there's a lot of harder articles in there, like getting allergy testing and, cosmetic surgery for Dylan and, things that people don't, want to relive or share or whatever. But there are so many moms out there, moms and dads, that kind of rely on knowing that they aren't the only person that has to hold down their son while their ear is sewn back on.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's the whole reason we do this show. It's just to know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like that this is possible. You can get through it. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really fascinating way. I've always struggled with sharing, some of my friends have been like, you really should tweet. And I'm like, I don't know how to tweet. Like, well, I know. Yeah. I know physically how to tweet. No, she
doesn't. I know her in person. She doesn't.
So true. I've had people like, I'm as bad with Facebook too. Somebody was like, you need to change your profile picture on Facebook.
It's been there for a long time. Earlier.
Oh man.
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
And I have to like sit down and really, really like dig around every time because I just don't do it. I'm just not a natural sharer. But I think thinking about it like as helping people is really, I like that.
Yeah. And I feel that due to my creativity and my directness, bluntness,
I like directness, that works,
and conciseness, or being concise. Like my articles aren't, there's not a lot of fluff, and I'm not like trying to make money or like on Mom Vault, but it just I just can, I don't know, I do like helping people, and I know that Mom Vault has helped a lot of people. I think faux shows helped a lot of people.
Yeah, I think even your Instagram is helpful. Like I love seeing your Instagram stuff. It kind of like, I'll be like rolling along and it's a day, and then I'll see this like they're always so positive. Like you just have so much positivity in your photography.
Well, I try. There's some negatives, but yeah.
Okay. They're by and large.
Yeah. The thing is, this is weird to say, but in the past somebody's asked me, "Oh my gosh, that's a great picture. What camera did you use?" And I kind of laugh.
Yeah.
It's not the camera. It's the person.
Yeah.
It's me. Like, yes, it took a good picture, but I framed it. I worked with the depth. I worked, with the colors and the lighting and figured out how to capture the moment. And I choose only to share those pictures because I do take a lot more pictures than I share.
Yeah. Wow.
As would anybody. I don't keep all those pictures. There's a lot of photo 101 things that I think I could probably do a whole show about. But
could you do a faux show about it?
I have done quite a few faux shows about the photos, but anybody can take pictures of their kids. But what really, who cares about my kids?
Yeah.
You know, like who cares? There are people that care, and they care because of the thought and the time and effort behind the
Yeah,
picture.
you put intention into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just they're like, oh, here they're smiling again. You know, I don't know.
I mean, you made me care about a snail the other day. Like you had this picture of a snail, and I was like, that is totally true.
Right. It was about the little things in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't step on him on the way to or from the bus stop. On the way to the bus stop, I thought, I'm going to take a picture of that snail on the way back. And I did. I got down on the sidewalk and I took a picture of the snail, and I took one where it had just the pavement as the background. And then I took another one because I was like, oh, the sun is shining over there. Maybe I can get like a glow on the snail. So I took 2 pictures, and I chose that second one that you ended up seeing on Instagram.com/momvault.
Nice plug.
I know, right? So, I think everything I do has meaning, and I hope that it would help other people in any way. I know that there are a lot of viewers, listeners of Jupiter Broadcasting that see my pictures on G+, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, that not rely on it, but it's very, very welcome.
It's a value add to my day.
Yeah, unlike maybe other people in their life that add pictures that don't necessarily have the charm, the quality, or the focus. Which I'm not trying to put people down at all. I'm just
No, you have a skill for that. It's definitely there, and the intention, it means a lot. Like art without intention is just
yes,
craft.
yes,
I think.
Yes.
I think that's the big differentiator between craft and art. Craft is something you can do. Art is something with intention.
yes.
And I realize that may be a really oversimplification, and some of my art major friends are going to be upset at me for saying that.
Right.
But that's my take. And yeah, and I love that about your work, and it's part of working with you. You always have intention, which is great. And
attention to detail, that's for sure.
Yeah, which is a nice add to me.
Yep. But I really like the social networking. I love the fact that people from around the world watch my show or listen or see my pictures and can comment on it.
Yeah. The way the technology has changed that is mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even really actually wrap my head around that. Like,
yeah. And honestly, it took me so long to get on Instagram, and I was such a snob about it. I'm like, oh man, who wants all their pictures to be square? And now, like, even though my phone has the square option, I still take them full, but I'm like, okay, will that fit in a square? Like,
your eyes automatically looking for squares.
Yeah, it kind of changes how I take pictures, but
I am going to call you out on something though.
Okay.
You got to fix the video thing. The portrait video's got to go, man.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't you. Okay.
Yeah, that was Jenny. Yeah. Okay. But yes, good. I am guilty of that though. And I am guilty of taking more portraits than landscape. I need to do more landscape.
Yeah. I'm a landscape junkie, but that's cuz like I grew up when I worked as a photographer for a while, I was doing landscape photography and architecture photography. So it's always landscape, especially for architecture. And
it's landscape for landscape.
I know, shocking.
Yeah, no, it's a lot easier to frame something square using portrait to me. Huh. Even though, regardless, either way, that when.
How do you like still apply photography basics like 2/3 to a square? Does that work?
I don't know.
Do you know the 2/3 rule?
I don't think so.
Oh, awesome. The rule of thirds. Right? So the idea is that if you break things up into 3 sections, so 1 section, 2 sections, 3 sections. I'm using hand gestures, which is super helpful for the radio. But that if you break a rectangle into 3 sections, the focus of your photography should land on the separation between either section 1 and 2 or section 2 and 3.
Oh, no, I don't use that. But I'm not okay. So a lot of people think a good picture is a centered picture.
No, that's exactly what that's fighting against.
I know.
Yeah.
And I do that. I do centered sometimes. Mm-hmm. But there was a picture recently of Abby with a quote, and I intentionally had her off to the side so that I could put the quote there. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily follow that rule, but I don't stick to centered.
Internal. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Right. I have variety.
I believe that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's cool. Awesome. So a little topic switch here. I'm going to use some insider info. You've got 3 kids.
Oh, man. Now everybody knows.
No, that's not the insider info. I know that they all use computers.
Yes. Oh, man.
And what do you think, like, as a mom, like, how do you approach that? There's a lot of information out there about like
Yes.
it's good, it's bad. How do you? And I know that because we've just talked about the fact that you're always acting with intention. Like, how do you do that intentionally with your kids?
Okay. That is a great question, Paige. So my firstborn is a son, and I imagined him holding a mouse and keyboard at like a year. You know, like I
Well, with
figured,
the house that he's growing up in, right?
right?
Yeah.
But it was actually not until his 5th birthday, right? No, 6th birthday, just before his 6th birthday, that I introduced him to the keyboard and mouse
Oh wow.
on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before that, was he still using like tablets
yes,
or something?
He was using iPads. Yes.
Okay.
So he understands them freakishly well. All 3 of my kids do. But there was a little bit of a curveball with Dylan with the keyboard and mouse. But you know, Minecraft is a good determinator or motivation.
He's
So,
determined because of Minecraft. It's a
Yes.
good motivator.
Yes. Perfect. So
Had he done Minecraft? So jumping in, had he done it on the iPad first?
yes, Pocket
Okay.
Edition. Yes. Yeah. And I honestly cannot do it on the iPad.
Yeah.
Because it's
I haven't tried.
weird. It's you have to use both hands, which I know it sounds like really it's just so weird on
You
a
just-
touch screen.
You're old now.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me of that every day when he's like, "Oh, Mom, did you know about this in Minecraft?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been playing Minecraft for 4 years, but no, I never knew that." Like, or that's new. That's an update since I've played, or you know, and just all 3 of the kids have done really well with learning on iPads. Abby, once Dylan started on his laptop, Abby expressed interest as well, and I wanted them to be able to play Minecraft together. So
Mhm.
she actually started just after she turned 4, or I guess ish. So when she is 4 right now, and she's playing Minecraft on the computer, and I made it fun. I did L and R for left and right on her mouse. I did different stickers so she could learn WASDA, and then also added stickers for escape and one other one that I can't remember. But basically, it made it a lot easier for her to learn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Full disclosure, I was hanging out with Abby and she was obsessed and asking all night last night if she could show me how to play Minecraft.
I know. Yeah.
Which is hilarious because she would actually have to show me how to play Minecraft because I have not ever played. Well, I played for like literally 5 minutes on a Raspberry Pi once because it's the one thing they include on the Raspberry Pi.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, that's it.
Huh.
So at some point she will have to teach me how to play Minecraft.
Yeah.
But
Well, I ran into an issue where her iPad can no longer play Minecraft because of it's no longer, the OS is no longer updatable. And
is it a 2 or?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I accidentally did a Minecraft update that just broke it.
Oh.
So she plays on her computer now. But that freed up her iPad so that Bella could play on it.
Mhm.
And so there's educational games on there, learning her ABCs, learning how to count, just learning the whole touch screen interface. And I rely on that
how old is
heavily.
Bella?
She's 2.
Okay.
She just turned 2. I rely on that heavily in the morning when she gets up between 4:30 and 6. I leave the iPad on the beanbag in my room, and she comes in on her own and sits down and plays it.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed. I have a nephew. He's 3, and he loves the iPad. It's definitely a reward for him. It's very careful, like when he can use the iPad and when he can't, especially because he's a bit Jack Smash, so he likes to smash things.
Oh, wow.
So the iPad, of course, being a very expensive piece, is and he hates the kid. Like we got one of the kid case things, and that was good when he was 2, but now it's no. He won't touch that when he has to have the real iPad. But the amount that he has learned on the iPad is really impressive. Like I think the educational games have kind of really stepped up their game from when I first looked at them.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think it's like, do you worry about them spending too much time on these devices?
Yeah, yes and no. There's something that I have done very right, and I can't pinpoint what it is, but I can say that my kids have a really good balance of outdoor play, social play, and by social play I just mean like when we're at parks they play with other kids, when we're at the children's museum they play with other kids. Like there's we've done a lot of play dates. I literally at one point would drive the kids to the park, let them out, let them play for 2 minutes, and then say, okay, let's get in the car. Just to get them used to it, because parks are fun
Mm-hmm.
and they want to stay there. But I needed them to get over I I want to stay here. Why can't,
This is going to sound terrible, especially to all the moms out there, but you worked on recall with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call it with dogs. So that's the
Okay,
idea,
yeah.
that like they'll come when you call.
Same thing with technology.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They don't freak out when I say no to TV. They don't freak out when I turn off the TV.
I have noticed that.
They know that it'll still be there tomorrow or later or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm redirecting them or that I'm redirecting them to something that could be equally or more fun
Mm-hmm.
or, feed themselves.
So did you do the same sort of thing where you kind of set small time limits for a while so they got used to that, or was it just kind of more natural on that?
It was very organic.
Mhm.
There's no there's never really been a time limit. There was a slight concern when Dylan developed a tic where he was squinting his eyes a lot. And I thought, oh gosh, maybe it's because he's, sitting too close to his iPad or
Yeah.
So I did limit it for 2 days as a temporary thing,
Mm-hmm.
but then he just got over it.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, no, I've never really done hard fast, but if in a pinch and I need to get work done and they can be, the older kids can be playing Minecraft and Bella can be on the iPad,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll do it.
And do you guys use the parental features on the iPad where you can lock
Yes.
down certain apps?
Absolutely. I also use it on Abby's computer, though I recently had to take it off because Minecraft runs a lot of websites in the background.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about, but it was, every 5 seconds it was popping up with a parental control. You can't access this website. Allow once or allow always. And then I'd have to type in my password.
Mhm.
Then it would happen again next time.
Yeah.
So it was really, in fact, I guess OS 10 switched away from using, I don't know if it's OS 10 or Mojang, but the Minecraft launcher no longer uses Java. And so when I got the new launcher, it couldn't fully download the executable because the websites were blocked or something,
interesting.
so I couldn't figure out why the launcher wasn't working. And so I signed out and then, or signed in as an administrator.
I have to say, for as big of a market as kids are, I used to work professionally as an in-home technician, and I would go places, and one of the most requested things was parental setups because it's so confusing and it's just so not supported by so many things. Like
Have you looked at OS 10 parental controls? It's fantastic.
No, they're really good, but they're complicated for non-technical people.
Well, maybe because the default is you can strap down no websites except for these educational ones, and they're actually meant for kids. It's perfect,
right? Or
then you can add websites that are okay, which obviously there are a lot of websites, so you would run into the constantly being limited. But it has only allow the computer to be signed in during these times, and after an hour, that was all very user friendly.
Nice.
I haven't used it yet, but because Abby doesn't really need it. They play Minecraft every once in a while, but I was so impressed with that when I saw it. It would be, you could set it by day.
I actually used a parental control account when I first started working remotely to limit myself to only my work sites because I was having focus problems.
Yeah,
and so I would
locked
log
your phone,
in.
right? You locked your phone away.
Well, at the time the phone was not great for that sort of thing. It was like tiny. I was like iPhone 3 whatever, so it was a tiny screen and not cool like they are now. But it's really cool. So you've kind of had this journey. You're a mom. You're working in a small business. It's all in tech. Have you found that it just kind of flows together with your life? Do you feel like having a career that is technology based and kind of some of the freedom that we get because of that has worked well with being a mom? Has it been bad? Like, because you can work anywhere, do you work more?
Right. Well, that is a very loaded question because it's not like working for a company remote, right? Like a different company. When you work for yourself, it's really hard to limit yourself to 8 to 5 or whatever. I think it's definitely been a struggle because I had to adjust my perspective and expectations of working while having 3 kids. Getting mad at them because I can't get a task done is just it's just not okay.
It's just bad for everybody.
Yeah. And so, because of that, I decided that I needed solid blocks of time where I could focus. And so about 2 years ago, I hired a nanny that would come into the house a couple days a week, give me that ability to focus And then the kids, I mean, I wasn't neglecting the kids, but obviously I can't focus on them and the company at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not neglect. You're setting up quality time for both, because it means that when you're with the kids, you're with the kids, and when you're with the company, you're with the company.
Yes. Yeah. So it's definitely a struggle and adjustment, and I think it just varies really from person to person and situation to situation. But just you just have to. I'm of the mind, and this happened really early on when Dylan was an infant, or like almost a year old. That really, they are my life. Like they are the priority. They are the focus, and they will pretty much always come first.
Yeah,
and that's pretty well, I think, relayed in my photography.
Yeah, I think in the way that you share, also in the way that you the way you move through life, it's very obvious that your kids are that level of importance to you. But it seems so healthy. Like I'm very impressed by that. I mean, like I'm not gonna lie, I think you really impressed me as a mom, and as a not mom. Like that's kind of hard to do. Yeah, I don't know a lot of momming.
Sure.
Is that a word, momming?
Yeah. Coined right here.
There you go.
Radio.
I think mothering is the appropriate term.
Mothering, yep.
Yes, which sounds like, I don't know.
Don't have an S. It's not smothering.
Oh, that's terrible. I love it. You're so funny.
I know.
So what has been the hardest part about tech for you? Like, because I know we've talked some, and you've been like some of the interviews that we've done, you kind of get this glassy look where you're like, I wish I understood. And it's not just a glassy look. It's like a look of, I wish I understood more of what you guys were talking about.
Yeah. Well, the inferior complex or whatever.
Imposter syndrome.
That is exactly what I meant. Yes, that definitely happens, but not like, I feel like if I just learned a little bit, it would give me enough to have a better perspective. But because I haven't been able to take a class or a course or learn one language or any kind of programming or whatever, like I know a little bit of HTML, but I feel like if I learned one language, it would help me kind of better understand other languages.
Yeah.
Other things.
Honestly, it's the fundamentals help you. It's vocabulary. Like most of learning programming is vocabulary.
Yes.
At the beginning, at least. I mean, later on, there's all sorts of other things. But
and I haven't exactly had the time to focus, or like I'd really like to do Linux Academy.
Yeah.
Or some other kind of
Code Academy or whatever. Yeah.
To get to learn stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I don't know it. I don't know if that's a direction. Like I know that I like databases, but I don't know if I could do that on a daily basis, or if that would be my passion or career. Right now I'm pretty satisfied with the business operational side of things, but
I'm very good at it. So
and social networking. But I'm not opposed to learning more.
I don't even think necessarily like I'm going to look at you and say, well, you should be a programmer. It's an excellent career. Well, of course it's an excellent career. I love it. But I think that, I'm not quite on the everybody should learn to code train. I think anybody who has interest should try it. Like anything else, like how do you know if you like ice cream if you don't try it?
Right.
Trust me, you'll probably like ice cream.
Right. Unless you're my kids and you ask if it can be warm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a thing. So do they like bread pudding?
I've never fed them bread pudding.
It's like warm ice cream. You should try.
Gross.
It's an English thing.
Okay.
I'm super English. It happens. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that I would totally be happy to commit to we should do a lesson on air.
I think so too.
Okay. We'll look up some stuff. We'll talk about some options. We could either do a stack talk where we talk about what actually makes all this stuff function, or we could talk about a specific language, or maybe both.
Keep in mind that I'm very, very direct. And I'm going to ask stupid questions.
There's no stupid questions.
Well, okay. I'm going to ask questions that will probably make you giggle.
You'd be surprised. I've taught hundreds of beginners at this point.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about it. Yeah. Okay. I think that as long as people are asking questions, it means they're engaging.
Right. Like
if you sit there and don't ask questions, that's when I'm like, are you stupid or something, son? But
wow.
Yeah. No, not quite.
Judgment.
Yeah. Super judge. No, I'm going to call you out. You should engage, ask questions. Anybody who's out there trying to learn to code, don't feel like it's a stupid question. At some point, somebody had to figure it out. And maybe you're working with one of the savants who started coding when they were, 6, but the likelihood of that is rare.
Right.
I remember, what was it? I spent a full almost like 6 months trying to just understand like the very, very basic concept of object-oriented programming. Like just understanding what it was. Like I just couldn't even get my head around like, what is this? Not even just like how to do it. Like that was a whole separate journey. It was like, I don't get it. And it took like, going to like 4 or 5 different meetups, asking a whole bunch of questions, finally finding a book that kind of like filled in those gaps. But like if I hadn't asked those questions, I'd still be stuck. And they felt like, of course they felt like dumb questions. And I was I was years into my programming journey and I'm like, I don't get this really fundamental concept. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But
I took an environmental class in college where I was the only person that ever asked questions.
Oh my goodness. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I hope the rest of the class failed.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, it wasn't, nobody really had very high grades, but I was complimented by other students about how I was able to ask questions regardless, just because I wanted to know.
And if you've got a question, especially if you're sitting in a room full of people, likelihood is someone else has that same question and they're just not willing to ask it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it sucks. I'm totally that person. Like I step up and I ask questions because I know that I can and I know that people need it. But like I hope other people will do it too. Yeah. The pivotal question. What are you the most excited about technology?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, and then I'm gonna ask you the stack question too. So.
I don't know what that is.
That's okay.
Okay. So I don't know anybody at Stack. Oh no, that's Slack. Okay. Technology. I am really excited about user experience. Essentially, one of the interviews that we did today, the Cornbread app, has my mind blown. I really hope that we see more companies that provide something that creates an almost all-inclusive personal touch experience built on a community. I'm really liking the community-oriented everything. Like that is so cool to me.
Yeah. It was what I said with technology for connection, not consumption.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because we can all be on the internet for hours consuming, but what? Well, I mean, I was gonna say what is the value, but there is value in that. But I really like the connection.
Yeah, I do think that we've, and I rail against this, and a lot of my friends know I'm fairly anti-Facebook and even Twitter. I'm much more picky about things because I think that there's a lot of this mindlessness that goes on now. That it's the same with where TV is or was, at the same time. Like you can just kind of sit there and like you aren't getting anything out of it except distraction.
Right.
And distraction and escape can be really valuable. Like I don't deny that. I definitely have my moments where I'm like, I'm just going to go look at Facebook for half an hour because I just need to zone out. But that's what I'm doing. I'm zoning out. I'm not adding to myself. I'm not adding to my community. And I think that, being able to separate that and find like the ways where we are providing value to ourselves and to each other is really important. And I think that we're on the verge of some of those breakthroughs again, like with Cornbread.
That also, I did I guess it's probably been over a year now, but I did a faux show on the Buy Nothing page groups, the Buy Nothing groups on Facebook. It's so amazing. I like in our city, it was split into 5 different groups because we're big enough, and I am getting to know all my neighbors. And so I posted on the Buy Nothing where you can either give stuff away or accept things. Ask, hey, I need this. I had put, I am looking for anything owl related for my daughter's birthday. She's going to be 2 soon. This was like in July. And one gal, she had an owl shirt that I could wear and it was perfect. It was one size too big, but, which is actually flattering because, so it was good. It was black, which is perfect with silver. And I love silver. It was just so perfect. And then as I was picking it up and meeting her, she said, "Oh, do you have a cake, being made yet?" And I was like, "Well, no." And she said, "Let me do her cake." And honestly, the skeptic in me was like, I don't know. Like, I could see her living condition. It wasn't like horrible, but I'm like, I don't know if I really want her. Like, can she even make a cake? Is this one of those people that like thinks they can do something? And so I
you just never know.
But I'm not going to burst the bubble. I was like, yeah, sure. I'll pick it up and maybe it'll go in the garbage and maybe it'll be amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I think it's like sad awesome to me that like we have to go out to like We essentially have to send things into space and let them come back to connect us to the people right next to us.
Yeah.
So it's sad and awesome. It's like, oh man, I wish I could just go knock on my neighbor's door. But like at the same time, like,
Yeah, but we used to have to use horses.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
much different.
No, it's not.
know?
We're definitely
Like there's even more connectivity than
Yeah.
back then.
I agree with you. I love like as excited I am about like wearables and Internet of Things and all these other interesting parts and smart homes. And someday I will build Jarvis. Like this is on my to-do list. Like the fact that I can start to use technology to connect with the people who are physically around me is so valuable to me. And especially someone who like I work remotely, I work by myself. Like without things like Meetup, like I would be a really miserable person.
Yeah.
Like meetup.com has like
right.
changed my life.
Yeah. Well, and really the IRC changed my life.
Mhm.
Like it I'm like, wow, there's a whole community out there. Like there's a lot of people, I don't know. It really opens up possibilities. And then since she made that cake, like, and she didn't make it. She actually didn't make it. She has a friend that works at a local grocery store that made it.
Mhm.
She bought Bella an owl sweatshirt.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was so crazy. And yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, it was just so cool that people can be so selfless, and that's what I like to do. I like to give away things to the community, but I also sell.
Yeah.
I also use the buy sell pages, which are also
No,
awesome.
it's still there's still value there. Like I'm
Mhm.
getting something cheaper than it would be in the store for sure.
right.
Or
Or
like
getting rid of something.
yeah, or getting
Yeah.
both sides of it are important.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was I had this kind of pivotal experience, which I say a lot, but
Mhm.
I traveled for 2 years in an RV all
Mhm.
across the US and I loved it. It was really fascinating. But the thing that really impressed me, because I kind of always believed this, but I didn't really have proof. But like people are good people. I think by and large, anywhere you go, like people want to do good things. Like we
Mhm.
all, I think we're wired for it. It's we get a lot of value out of providing for others, out of helping out. It's like it's biochemical at this point. We
Yeah.
get dopamine when we do good things for people.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's legit. But I don't know if I believed it until I did this journey, and it was like I really do. Like and like random things like coming up to Chris at OSCON for the first time and being like,
Yes.
hey, and then meeting you guys and you're like, yeah, let's do this thing. And like, there's no, like, we're not getting anything.
This thing being Women's Tech
Women's
Radio.
Tech Radio. Yeah.
Mhm.
And, we're not, it's not like Women's Tech Radio is paying my bills or making me
Right.
a fortune or anything, but
Right.
I want to give back to the community and you wanted to too.
Mhm.
And like getting
Yeah.
together and doing that is even more valuable.
Yep.
So very cool. And I love that technology gives us space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your stack?
Okay. Stack question. So what are the tools you use on a daily basis?
Oh, right. Yes.
What's your stack is what we developers call it.
Whew. Okay.
You got all like
Yes.
flustered possibly.
Here I go. Wow. Okay. There's a lot. So Telegram for internal communication. We use FreshBooks for invoicing, QuickBooks for accounting. I use Google Docs. I use Excel. I use Pixelmator to do promotional artwork.
Love Pixelmator.
I use 99 Designs, which I know isn't like an app that you can go get, but
No,
I
it's still
I
something in
use
your stack.
Yeah, I use 99 Designs. In fact, one person in particular has designed all of our logo refresh that I started back in like 2013, I think.
Mm-hmm.
14. Yeah, the end of 2013. And let's see what else. Of course,
Instagram.
yeah, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, G+, Facebook, all of those. I'm trying to think of Reddit.
You really are like a social maven.
Yeah, I do a lot of social things here. Let me pull up my thing.
Your most frequent tabs.
Or just my Jupiter Broadcasting drop down. So I guess more Jupiter Broadcasting related. We have a lot of different subscriptions. A lot of people think, oh, I can just start up a podcast, and no, there's a lot of back end subscriptions. We use Scale Engine. I'm not sure if Blip TV is still running. I don't think it is, but we use archive.org, Libsyn. There's we used to use Justin.tv.
You guys use Dropbox too, right?
We definitely use Dropbox at the where you have to pay a buttload now.
Yeah. I pay for Dropbox even personally.
Yeah.
So good.
And we also rebranded email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But basically, and of course, Colloquy for IRC.
Oh yeah.
I use Colloquy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes Lime Chat, but
Yeah, I think the really impressive part about this stack is like barring a couple standouts, like most of that is web apps. Like you can run
Yes.
almost your entire business from the browser.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's very cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It is.
That is a huge change in the world. Like if you think about business in the past couple of years, like
Mm-hmm.
it's really been even in the past 5 years that can be true.
Yeah. I do very much dislike Google Docs.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Specifically spreadsheets. So I
Yeah,
guess
Google Sheets
spreadsheet-
is
yeah.
it's weird because they went with their own formula setup instead of using Excel. So a lot of people have trouble translating. And then
Yeah.
some of the major features that you're used to in Excel
Yeah.
aren't there or are
Nope.
really hidden.
Yeah.
And I think Google Docs is going to have the same experience that Microsoft had going from Office 2003 to Office
Mhm.
2007,
Mm-hmm.
which the thing was that they did this interview where they were like, okay, people, what do you want in the next version of Office? And like they did like hundreds and hundreds of interviews. And 99% of the requests were features that were already in Office. And they were just, people didn't know how to get to them.
Sure.
So that's why we had the huge facelift between 2003
Yeah.
and 2007.
Well, the thing is, the reason why I use Google Sheets is because you just can't beat accessing it anywhere
Yeah.
online.
And the share.
And sharing is very easy. Yes. Right. Yeah. I do not like, I had a bad experience using Dropbox and people editing, multiple people editing the same doc. It just does not work. The collaboration was not there. I mean, I'm sure there's collaboration tools out there that would be better, but I haven't used them.
Yeah. Well,
So.
I don't know. I really think that, honestly, as picky as I am, like Google kind of has the market on the
Mhm.
collaboration. Although Evernote is picking up.
I haven't used it yet.
I love it. It's my
Not yet.
second brain.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my first brain at this point.
Oh, and of course we use Bitly.
Bitly. Yep.
Yeah, to shorten links.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh, and some Markdown add-on browser add-ons.
Yeah.
Forgot to-
I'm still trying to get my head around the Markdown thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a faux show on it.
Really? Oh, I should check
I
that one
did,
out.
yeah.
I will admit I don't watch all of them.
Yeah, but honestly, I've pretty much forgotten everything. I just use the add-ons now. It's so easy. I'll show you after the show.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. At this point, I just like write things and then like edit it later. I just write in
Mhm.
plain text and then
Mm-hmm.
make it fancy later.
Okay.
But we'll figure it out. Well, this has been super fun. We'll have to do some more later.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have questions for either of us, feel free to send them in. We're always listening on Twitter, and we're always interested in new guests that you'd like to hear about. And cool.
Yeah. So
Well-
thanks for listening to this episode of Women's Tech Radio.